Well, the Senate passed a short-term federal spending bill with just a few hours to spare before a government shutdown. President Biden later signing that budget, which funds the government for just the next 45 days. The House earlier in the day voted 335 to 91 in favor of the bill. Among the 90 Republicans voting no was Tennessee Representative Tim Burchett. And Congressman Burchett is joining us now live. Congressman, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me on, ma'am. Sorry, I'm in a vehicle.
I see that. It's not a problem. You've been adamant in your objection to this spending plan. Why did you vote no?
Yes, ma'am. Well, we have really one job in Congress, and it's required by law, actually, is that we pass 12 bills and a budget. We're $33 trillion in debt. We keep doing these gimmicks every time, and they do a 30-day or now we're doing a 45-day, and guess what? This continuation just backs right up against the Thanksgiving break. So, of course, we'll probably see another one there, or maybe even an omnibus. And all that does is it keeps you, the tax, having a chance to view in behind the curtain and see what we're doing. And all they do is pass this thing. They load it up with their special projects. And when you have an omnibus, all most congressmen do is they just read down until they get to their district or whatever lobbyist that they're trying to grease at that time. And then when they get to that point, they read it, they stop, and they say, okay, that's all I want. And that's the classic Nancy Pelosi, let's pass it so we know what's in it scenario. And that is why we were $33 trillion in debt, ma'am.
Oh, let me ask you, Representative Matt Gaetz today saying that he will move to oust Kevin McCarthy from the speakership this week. Do you support that move?
Well, Matt is a very good friend of mine, and at this point, I do support that. Yes, ma'am.
If you do vote to oust Speaker McCarthy, who do you want to see as Speaker?
I don't know. I think we need to send a message, though, that this deficit spending and these promises that we make to the American public, we're gonna honor those. We cannot continue down this path. You know, there's commitments made for things like term limits and other things, and we haven't fulfilled those promises. And then, you know, Kevin's a dear friend of mine, but we just can't continue down this path. It's not working.
I hear you. And respectfully, Congressman, isn't this part of the issue that the GOP cannot come to any sort of consensus on who would be a viable alternative?
Yes, ma'am, that is true. But there's plenty that are out there sniffing around, I can assure you right now. And that's it's going to make for an interesting week, I'm sure.
Okay. Congressman Tim Burchett, appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.